Hello, this is Professor Salahat, and in this video we're going to try to work on number 22 from homework 5 and beyond. And we want to just remind you that here in number 22 they talk about the proportion, and the question here says the figure to the right shows the results of a survey in which 995 adults from country A, 996 from country B, and so on. So they went in there and surveyed 5 countries. And if you look carefully at the bottom in there, they talk about in here were asked. So they were asking those people the following question: whether national identity is strongly tied to birthplace. And the answers will be, do you think it is tied or not? So the answer will be yes or no. So to answer those questions, or to find the confidence interval, because they ask us to build a confidence interval, and the first time or for all of them, they ask us to find 95% confidence interval. Notice that this problem is 5 problems in one. So we want to build a confidence interval for country A, one for B, one for C, one for D, one for E. All of them will have the same confidence level, 95%. But let's start with A. In country A, they mentioned that in country A we have 996 adults. So in country A, there is a total of 996 adults. I'm going to erase that, and I put 996. And the p hat is 35% or 0.35, and the confidence level is 95. So in this case, I'm going to go in here and redo this problem with 996. So to be able to use StatCrunch, we need to know what X is. X is the number of successes or number of yeses. Remember, they gave us the percentage of yeses. They didn't give us the number of yeses. So to find the percentage or to find the number, you always multiply. This is the rule. We always multiply p hat times n. In this case, p hat is 0.35. That is p hat. And n is 996. That's n. So we multiplied the two, and I'm going to remultiply those. This is an older number in here. And so this is 0.35 times 996 and 996, and this will give me a total of 348. So let me write this down: 348.6. My recommendations here is do not try to round this number, because this is not the final number. So we're going to scroll down and we're going to use StatCrunch. To use StatCrunch, those are the steps we use. To find the confidence interval for a proportion, you press stat, then proportion stat, one sample with summary, number of successes, which is X. In this example, X is 348.6, and the number of observations, which is N. In this case, N is the number of people surveyed in country A, which is 996. So in this case, if you fill this information and the confidence level in this problem is 0.95, you should get the answer you're looking for. So let me open StatCrunch and see if we get this answer. Let me move this. We're going to go to stat, and we're going to go to proportion stat, one sample with summary. The number of successes in this case will be 348.6, and the number of people surveyed, which is 996. And we're going to go down to confidence level, and we check that, which is 0.95, and compute. And that is the answer we got in here. Let me slide a little bit. Notice in the problem here, let me just move this around. In the problem, they want the answer to 3 decimal places. So I'm going to go only 3 decimal places with this. So it's going to be, the left limit is going to be 0.320, and the right limit is 0.3779 something. We're going to put 80. Notice, and in here, they give us the answer to 3 places. So when we round the number 0.3, let me just round only those things, 3 places. 0.379, there is a 6 at the end, so we're going to put 0.380. So let's put this down and check the answer. So this is 0.320, and the second number is 0.380. So if we check in here, we get the correct answer. Now, let me just do B. We're not going to do all of them. So it's the same thing for part B. In part B, or country B, they tell us, if you go back to read in here, they tell you we have actually, I made an error in here. Country A is 995. Sorry for that. So country A is, again, repeat my steps for country A with 995 or 995. So this is here was a 5, not a 6. So the way we did it the first time was correct. By the way, just to give you an idea, when I was recording, Blackboard just stopped working. So I have to redo the problem, and I thought the problem changed. So sorry for that. Let me just do B with the right numbers in front of me. Here, 996 adults. Here it says 996 adults from country B. So from country B is 996. So this is N is 996. Now, they gave me P hat for country B. For country B, look at the table. It's 22%. Now, we're not going to work with 22%. We're going to try to find X bar. So, or X, sorry. For X is going to be P hat times N. So in this case, it's going to be 0.22 times 996. And if I use my calculator, it's 0.22 times 996. That's going to give me 219.12. Okay, so if we continue here, we have the confidence level, or don't forget that we have N, which is the number of observations. We have X, which is the number of successes, and we have the C, which is 95%. So if I go in here and I try to work this problem with StatCrunch, again, let's start. In this case, we're going to go to Stat, Proportion Stat, one sample with summary. The number of successes in this case, always X, which is 219.12. The number of observations, which is how many in the country, which is 996. And the confidence level, which is 95%. Don't change it. Hit compute. That's going to give you the answer you're looking for. And the answer is 0.194 and 0.246. If we run the answers that we see in here on this in this table here. So if we run them, we're going to get those two numbers. So we go to stat or to the homework. We put this 0.194, and the second number is 0.246. And when you check, you're going to get the correct answer. Now, some of you may wonder, say, how come you use the wrong number in the first problem, which is you use 996 instead of 995, and when you put the answer, it worked. Notice that there is leeway for the problem. That's the reason why. It's not because I used the right number. It is because the answer is giving me leeway for the correct answer. Now, I'm not going to do the rest of them, but the third part will be about country C. For country C, there is 29% of the people. And how many in country C is 1,022. So here it says the number of adults in country C is 1,022. The next one is going to be 1,003 for country D, and then 99 for country E, and so on. And the percentages are given, so just follow the first couple of steps. So that is how we do number 22. Now let's move to 23. Actually, 23 is the same as 22. I'm going to do just one part. For 23, I'm just going to do one part, and we're expecting to have as many countries as many parts. So there are 5 countries, there are 5 parts. So let's start with, actually it's not countries in here. It says in here, the figure to the right shows the results of a survey in which 3,000 college graduates from year 2016 were asked questions about employment. Okay, so in this case, N is equal to 3,000. So forget about countries now. We're not talking about countries anymore. So they went in there and asked 3,000 students in a survey. And the first group of people, we're going to use 99% confidence interval. The first group of people, and they asked them a question in here. So they didn't really. Actually, the questions are here about employment. If you look under the title here, employment, college students' responses to questions about employment. So they asked them about employment, and 70%, that is the first P hat, 70% of the students said that they expect to stay at first employer for 3 or more years. Now, the second one is going to be 66%. They completed an apprenticeship, internship, and so on. Notice that the first question they are asking us in here to construct a 99%. Again, I'm highlighting this here. To construct a 99% interval for the proportion of college students that expect to stay, again, here, they expect to stay for 3 at their employer for 3 or more years. So we are talking about the 70%. And we want to build an interval for those 70%. So before we do anything, we know that we have to count. N is given, so I don't have to worry about N. Okay. Now what I need to worry about in here is about X. So is X is given here, and it's not. So therefore I have to find it. So X is always P hat times N. In this problem is P hat is 0.7 and N is 3,000. We know that 7 times 3 is 21, so this is 2,100. Or you can use a calculator. So we know that 2,100 people out of 3,000 said they're going to stay at their first employer for 3 or more years. Now, the question is here to construct the confidence interval. So if I want to construct the confidence interval, I have to go to those steps that I mentioned in the previous analysis that we did earlier. Now, here, those are the steps we follow. Again, without those numbers, for sure. Those are steps we follow. Now we're going to go to StatCrunch, press stat, proportion stat, one sample with summary, fill in the number of successes, fill in the number of observations, fill in the confidence level, and we're going to get what we're looking for. So let me go down in here and pull StatCrunch and work the problem. So we're going to go to stat, proportion stat, one sample with summary, and the number of successes in this case is always X. So the number of successes in my problem here is 2,100. Number of observations always N, which is 3,000. And we're going to go down to the level and fill it with 99%, not 95, because they told us the level changed to 99. So when we hit compute, that is the interval we got. It is 0.67844. Again, there is more digits to come, and 0.72155, and there is more digits to go. So in this case, we're going to go to the problem and decide how many digits we want. In the problem here, they want 3 digits, so we're going to go all the way 1, 2, 3, and stop. Here, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, and stop. So the first one will be 0.678, because after the 8, there is a 4, we ignore it. And the one after that is going to be 0.72. After the 2, there is a 1, but after the 1, there is a 5, so we're going to make it a 2. Now we check the answer, and that will be the correct answer. Now, as you expect, probably, they are talking about, for the second one, they are talking about students, the 99% confidence interval for a proportion of college students that have completed. Okay, so you're talking here about the ones who have completed their apprenticeship or internship. And that's, by the way, it's the second one in here, which is the 66%. So we just do the same problem here, but when it comes to the P hat, we're going to use, for part B, we don't use 70. For part B, we don't use 70%. We're going to use the 66%, and nothing else will change. Just X will change because you're going to multiply 66% times 3,000. So the X will change, nothing else will change, and you work the problem. So that is how we do number 23. Again, in number 23, it's 5 parts because we have 5 problems. I'm going to stop here, and I'll finish this at another video.